Yeah. Hey guys, it's Vic Ninja Closer. I'm here with Tracy Montgomery. She's a newcomer to the UCM and she's doing so well with this gig that she's in now. I think it's gonna be really good to kind of get her perspective and how she's grown through this whole process. How you doing, Tracy?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Good, good. I know it's late. I know it's Friday. You've been busy all week. You've got a lot of things going on. So tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
Okay, so I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and I've actually been running my own sports therapy clinic for the last 20 years, which
Wow.
I'm still doing, even though now I'm in in sales as well. So I'm splitting my time between the clinic and treating sports injuries and the sales gig that I'm currently on.
Okay, cool. So sports injuries. How did you go from treating sports injuries to high ticket sales?
Yeah, there there really was an easy path. Okay, here's a long path. So originally I built a coaching business,
Okay.
which was the mental game of returning from injury, basically. So that was kind of step from like the treatment to working on the mental game. And I loved it and it was super fun, but I didn't like the front end of it. Like I didn't love the marketing
Mm,
and the me being all over Facebook and all that stuff, right? So I end up, as much as I loved it, I was like, you know what, it's too much right now. But I was still looking for something, right? And then so a couple of years later, I come across high ticket sales, and I was like, well, that's cool. I can have the sales conversations. I can have the lifestyle of working online, but not have to splash myself all over Facebook and all of that stuff.
right.
So yeah, so to me it seemed like a great fit. So at that point I kind of looked into high ticket sales and jumped into a program and started learning. And that was just in January. I kind of fell across it and decide to get in.
Okay. So you got in the program. How long until you've kind of found your stride?
You know what? It was kind of crazy because, like I said, I started, I think, the very beginning of January. And I think I got my first gig within like a month, you know? Unfortunately, I mean, the owner was incredible, really, really liked him, but just it was not the right spot for me. So I didn't continue with them. And then I found another gig. And that didn't really work out that well either. We were, yeah, just long story, but it wasn't the right company. Then I got out and then I found another gig. So I wasn't having a problem finding work. I was just like quality companies. Like the last gig that I was in, once I got in, I realized they had only sold like 2 packages the previous month and they had like 4 closers.
Hmm,
So I was like, you guys don't need another closer. You need something's broken here, right? So
right.
I again like I was starting to get just kind of discouraged because I was like, these seem like really good deals. And then I would get in and I'm like, nobody is telling, I want to say the truth, but nobody's really representing on the front end what was actually on the back end. So
Right.
it was really frustrating. And I would get in and I would I'd work hard and I'd be like, what is going on here? And then it would just all come to light and I would actually see, the back end of everything and I'd be like, oh man, like another one. So I was just getting discouraged with the whole industry. I was like, is it all like this? What's going on? So yeah, so that was, I mean, that took me several months. And I think I came across you guys. That's actually my friend Thomas Kern, who
Mm, love
honestly
Tom.
honestly like 2 months of bugging me. You really need to listen to JT. Like I swear to God, 2 months. And I wasn't ready to listen yet, right? And
Mhm.
so finally he tagged me in a post and I was like, okay, I'll talk to him, right? And and I talked to Sam, who was awesome, and he hooked me
Right.
up with JD. And I remember on the conversation of JD, like things went off in my head. Like it was just like I got so much out of that conversation. I got off the phone, I sent Thomas a message and I was like, oh crap, Thomas, I'm in. And he's like, I told you so. And I was like, oh man. But like again, like that conversation with JD, like I can't, like literally like switches went off in my head, like simple things in the conversation that we talked about that I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's like I had kind of lost my mojo, but then it's like as soon as we started talking, I was like, okay, I got this. Like I can, like it just turned everything back on again. Which was awesome. And then very quickly I met you the
Yeah.
day after I
Yeah.
got in to the program, to the mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because you hit on something that kind of happens to a lot of people. You're like, oh yeah, I can get in this space and let me jump in this space. Let me find a gig. Got a gig. and then I'm in it and something's not right. And I'm searching around and A is not knowing what B is doing and something's not computing in the middle, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then I leave that and go to something else and it's more of the same and then it's more of the same and it's more of the same. And then you get on a call with JD and he tells you things that are super simple.
Yeah,
And this whole time you're thinking that this everything hasn't been working, so this must be really hard to find something. But then he tells you the simple things and you're like, wait, the light bulbs start flashing and they're like, this is so easy. So
exactly.
so simple, I should say. It's not easy, it's simple.
Not easy. Yeah.
It's so simple. How did I miss all of this? How did I not see this? And sometimes it just takes somebody telling you, hey, this is where your eyes are closed.
Exactly. Exactly. No,
Yeah,
it's totally true. Totally true. And it's one of those things that's like, because I mean, I came from business background. I've run my own business for 20 years,
right.
right? But technically I didn't really have sales experience, but I
Mm,
knew if I could get on the phone and get an interview with someone, I can communicate well. And I knew that, I'd be, good for a job. But it was like getting those interviews because I don't technically have any, high ticket sales experience, right? So
right.
um yeah, so like I said, it was interesting. The one thing that I really really remember JD saying when we were speaking is like, well, who do you want to work with? And you know what, Sam Dobbs had said the same thing to me, like, who do you want to work with? And I was like, well, I don't know, like I hadn't really
Mhm.
thought about that, right? So it started with Sam kind of poking that around in my head, and I was like, I don't know, who do I want to work with? Like I work with athletes, I could work with in fitness, I love business, and I was like, I don't know, So it kind of started with Sam, and then I talked to JD, and it was interesting because I remember saying to him, I could work in fitness, but I don't want to motivate people. Like I
Mhm.
can't motivate people. Like if they're not motivated, like I can't talk them into getting fit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I can't do that job. And one thing that JD talks about is, who do you want to work with? Like what's the personality of the person
yeah,
you want to work with? And I can't, I would, there's no way I could do weight loss all day long because I
yeah.
would be like, you just need to get healthy, like I'd have a hard time motivating people to do that. But if we're looking at fitness and we're looking at like, um, fitness programs, like a business coach selling to fitness owners. And I was like, oh, well, that would make sense,
Yeah.
So it's just like, who do you want to work with? Right. And I was like, well, I just kept seeing gigs and applying if they sounded like they were cool, So like I had no plan. I had no plan, right, really what I wanted to do. And just that simple thing, I was like, well, yeah, like use my expertise or what I have and just find something that suits me versus just applying for stuff, right? Was
Right,
what I was doing. I was just applying for stuff. So
right.
yeah, it's light bulbs.
I love your story because it's showing that anyone can take their experience and turn it into high ticket sales for them. It doesn't have to be a cookie cutter version of somebody next to them or what they've heard on ads or whatever. It's you took your experience of running sports clinics and you deciphered with that, what do I want to do versus what I don't want to do? And you found something that fits your business acumen, that fits your skill set. And now you're working for someone that fits all of those things. And that's really awesome. And I love that.
Well, the interesting thing is, again, what I just said, where I could fit into like fitness and business and stuff like that, that's actually not where I am.
Right.
So I kind of accidentally fell into like the sweetest gig ever, which I never really thought was where I wasn't like I didn't think I wanted to be there. I just had never thought about being there.
Right.
But what I'm doing right now, with the gig I'm in, I'm empowering women to start their own businesses. So it's just the most phenomenal conversations. Like I'm having conversations with, I signed up a 17-year-old with her mom's permission to start a business,
Yeah.
and then
Awesome.
moms that are at home. And, I talked to a lady that should be hopefully signing up tomorrow, that she owns several veterinarian clinics. So she's already making a killing, but she wants another little side business,
Hmm.
So it's such a wide range of the people I'm talking to, and it's so fun for me, like to dig into what they're doing, and then kind of dream it out a little bit, and just really empower them to take control, get away from the 9 to 5 grind, and actually build something for themselves. And I always ask them, okay, this is where we're going to get to, like how proud are you of that? And they're just
Yeah.
like, you can just hear it in their voice, right? Like it's so fun for me. But that wouldn't have been the first place I would went to. But when I kind of got to there, again, with your help, I got a connection to a recruiter, And like I said, it's just such a sweet gig. Like it's just such a nice place for me to be. Like I feel, like I said, the
Yeah.
conversations are fun. Like they're conversations. It's not like a big sales pitch. They're conversations and they're fun. So
Well, I
it's
mean,
great.
you're in a sense replicating yourself. You're helping
Yeah.
women become a business owner, which is exactly what you've done for the past 20 years. And it's
Yeah.
exactly what you've been able to build. So not only do you have that expertise, but it's also fun, like you said, and you enjoy
Yeah.
it and you
Yeah.
help people like become the best versions of themselves. And I can see
Yeah.
it in your face and how you talk about it. Like it's making me excited. Like
And
I'm
it's
like,
so
man, I want
fun.
to listen to these calls now.
Exactly. And again, you would appreciate this as well, right? Because I've run my own business for the last 20 years, if there's like a sing along or a field trip in the kindergarten class, I just go. Like I just schedule around it and I go. Like I've got
Hmm.
the opportunity to do that. Like I don't have to miss anything with the kids. You know, if they need to leave for a hockey tournament on, Friday morning or Thursday afternoon, I just schedule around it and I go, right? So I know that freedom of just being able to control your schedule
Yeah.
and be there for your family, and like, I for the last year, I mean, I just didn't do this until last year, but like being home by the time they got home from school every day,
Right.
like just I have so much time with them,
And you've
and
got what, 3 or 4 kids?
oh Lord, only two.
Oh, two, two, two.
Sometimes
Okay.
feels like three or four.
Hey, I get that.
But just two, and they're awesome. They're like 7 and 9. And actually, it's so funny too because we're talking about the three of us starting this other business, like an
That's
e-commerce
so
business.
great.
And we're talking over dinner tonight, and my daughter, in their class, they must have done something about taglines and advertising, like at school. So she was coming up with the tagline. Like we figured out what the name was going to be, and we were brainstorming taglines over dinner. And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!"
That's great.
But this is a kid too. She'll be like, "Okay, what can I sell? Like I could sell some brownies." And like 2 summers ago, she was selling our vegetables that we made in our garden. She was like selling them door to door to the neighbors.
That's awesome.
Like she's like total entrepreneur.
She's
So
already got more drive than most adults in the
oh
high
my
ticket
gosh,
space.
it's so funny. It's so funny. But she just, again, she's constantly thinking of stuff. So we're gonna build a little e-commerce store,
I
and
love that.
yeah,
I
super
love
fun.
that. And
Yeah.
you know what else I love too? I love the fact that you're doing this with kids, being a business owner on top of that, still running a business and managing high ticket sales. A lot of people give excuses for why they can't do it, or for why it's taken them forever, or for why they're, dragging their feet. But you've got a busy schedule. You've got a
I
business,
do.
you've got kids, you got a
Yeah.
household to run, and
And
you're
I'm a
doing high
single
ticket
mom.
sales. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
have every
So
excuse in the book
yeah.
to be like, no, I'm not going to do any of this today.
Yeah.
But here we are on a Friday night and you're exhausted because you spent all week
I
doing
am.
everything that you love to do. But it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love that. It's a true testament of what you can do when you put your mind to it.
Well, when you see the vision of what could be forward too, right? Like where you
Yeah.
want to go and all that stuff, like it makes it's helpful. It's helpful. My kids have decided they want to move to the country. And I'm like, okay, so we got to have a job that's only workable in the country when I'm, like I'm not,
Yeah.
can't go to my clinic every day if I'm
Right.
in the country. So,
Right.
but it's fun. It's fun.
So you got into the mastermind. We met like the next day. I
Hmm.
connected you with someone. How long did it take between entering the mastermind to you getting a job, an
Like
opportunity?
securing the job,
Yeah.
7 days.
Wow.
So yeah, so basically we got in. I talked to JD on a Thursday and connected with you on a Friday. I remember the conversation was just like, you reached out, you're like, hey, whenever you're ready to get some connections, let me know. And I was like, dude, I'm ready now. Like, what do I need to do to be ready?
Yeah.
Like, is
Yeah.
there some sort of thing to pass?
Yeah.
And so I got on the phone with you like immediately, and you connected me with a recruiter that day
Right.
who connected me with this stellar gig that he had to fill by Monday. So,
Awesome.
I think Monday or Tuesday I had the interview, and then I was like, and of course, like the second half of the interview was the role play, which I was like, as soon as she gave me the script, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. And
Right.
so I did the role play like the next day or whatever, and then got started. So
That's
it was,
awesome.
again, literally 7 days
That's
from
awesome.
entering, and a lot of it was just a mindset switch.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
said,
$100.
like I was just bombed out, and like my mojo was gone, and I was like, oh crap, is this not going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, no, it is, and just again, everything got turned on, and then it's just like, it's been crazy. It's
It's
been
the power
fun.
of
So
saying yes. It's saying
yeah.
yes to
Yeah.
whatever's in front of you, and then yes to yourself that you can do it. And
Yeah.
once that happens, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you say yes.
Yeah, exactly. And just moving towards what you want, right?
Yeah,
Like always
100%.
moving towards what you want. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next couple months in the future? What are your goals and plans?
Oh gosh, it's kind of crazy. Like I've always like with my sports therapy clinic, I love the work I do. I do something called active release technique and shockwave therapy. So it's a manual therapy, so it's exhausting,
Mm.
which again is fine. It keeps me fit, but at the same time it's like I worry about injuries and all that stuff. So I've kind of had one foot out the door for a while, just being like I need to find something else as a backup. And now I feel like I'm in the position where I could actually walk away from that,
Mm.
like I'm, but at the same time, I'm like, shoot, I don't even know if I can. So I'm cutting my hours at the clinic for sure. Well, I'm trying to, but all of a sudden I'm getting busy again. So, as it would be, right? So I'm not quite sure. Like it's going to be a transition. Like I'm going to be in my clinic for a bit longer for sure. And then working the sales gig that I have now, is good. It's really, really good. And initially I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes or whatever. But like the vision of this company and what they have going in front of them and the possibilities, like this could easily be a long-term
Wow,
gig.
that's
Like it
great.
really, really could. They're talking about, just the expansion they're talking about. And even like we were talking today on our sales meeting about, hitting certain numbers and then just, boosting our percentage rates and stuff like that as far as what we're being paid out. And if that happens, it'll be like, you know,
Yeah,
brilliant,
yeah.
so that it's such a good spot that I see myself definitely settling in here for a while and just trying to figure out how to manage the clinic and this at the same time without falling over in exhaustion. But, and it's funny too, because this is scheduling is just like, obviously I'm setting my own schedule so I can manipulate everything, but like I made a couple mistakes, a couple of rookie mistakes like on my sales schedule. And this company is brilliant. They have leads, like they have lots of leads, right? And I
Right.
accidentally adjusted something on the schedule and I left open, I think it was last Friday. I left open like I was supposed to finish at 5 and I accidentally left open from 5 to like 11. And all of a sudden I got this confirmation I had a 6 o'clock appointment booked. And I was like, crap, it's not, shouldn't be open. I go and look, the entire thing was filled in. Like
Wow.
the entire thing, every half hour between 5 and 11. I was like,
Wow.
oh crap, so the good news is they have lots of leads,
Right. Right.
but the bad news is I was like, how am I going to fix this, right? So as that turned out, a couple of them canceled and I gave a couple to a couple of the other girls, but otherwise I did the rest of them. I was like, it was my
Wow.
mistake,
There you
I'll
go.
sort it out. But yeah, so there's been a few learning mistakes and tiring learning mistakes and stuff, but yeah, overall super super fun, super fun.
That's awesome. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I'll let you go. I know you're busy. I know you're tired. I know your kids are running around, so I'll let you go. But thank you for coming on and talking. I mean, it's been so cool to kind of see your progression, and I'm just excited for where you're going to end up. I love that you're doing something that you absolutely enjoy, and I can see it and I can feel it just from talking to you. And I love that Thomas was pestering you for 2 months to join. We're going to
Damn,
have to do
Thomas.
something good for Thomas. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
well, hey,
No, that's awesome.
I'll let you go. Thanks again for coming on, and I'll
Yeah,
talk to you soon.
thanks so much for having me. And again, and thanks for your part of, just reaching out in that first day and saying, "Hey, what can I do to help you?"
Of
Like
course.
that was huge. That got me moving. So I totally appreciate it.
Of course. All right. We'll see you soon.
All right, have a good night.
Bye. You too.
Bye.